I'm here today in the heart of Milton Keynes, where parking is expensive, but here lives one of the best VR experiences the UK has to offer. The rise of VR has been slow but steady within the UK. Japan and the USA show the highest adoption rating of this. Is there a blatant reason for it? Well, it might be because to get this experience, it's an upward cost of £600 to get one of the HTC Vives. However, if you want an advertised experience, you might need a computer that costs up to $1,000. This is where Vertigo VR comes in. They are not only saving people's wallets, but they're keeping the VR business alive within the UK. Today, I'm going to take a look around and show you how it all works and what they do here. And this is how Vertigo VR deliver the virtual reality experience to their customers. As you can see, we have a HTC Vive Pro hooked up here to one of the 1070 Ti's with an Intel i7. And in fact, all of these VR arenas are hooked up to the very same components. And also around us, you can see the infrared cameras flanking all your body to get the virtual reality goodness. You can also see we have some screens, so your friends and family can not only watch you make silly movements, but they can also see what you're seeing on screen to give you some support and laugh at you as you're joking around. So I'm here with Pete, and what's it like working here at Vertigo VR?
Honestly, probably one of the best jobs I've ever had. It's a really nice work environment, it's very chilled out, but at the same time there's a lot of room, because it's such a emergent industry in terms of VR, and especially the gaming industry in England is one of the biggest industries in the country at the moment. It's really fun to be on like the cutting edge customer area of that. So yeah, I'd definitely say it's one of the better jobs I've ever had.
Cool. Run me through like what it'd be like putting somebody on one of the...
So in terms of the process, we try and make it simple for everyone so everyone can understand. So the first thing we do is I'll explain how the controllers work, because obviously that's what we use to navigate the VR world. So you say, these are the controllers, these are the buttons, and then I just click the triggers and stuff to just show people, so that everyone sort of knows what's going on. Then I'll run them through the main system, because all of our arenas run off the Springboard software, which basically acts as like the main screen in between games, sort of like Xbox's home screen and stuff like that. So I'll show them all the things for that, how to find certain games, and then just say, there you go, that's how you switch games, now you know all your stuff, now you can move in and get going, and I'll just be here on hand if you need me. If you have any questions, just come and find me. That's usually how it goes.
Decent. And so with like, obviously there's people moving about and stuff, how do you like stay sort of composed, seeing all these people using it for the first time and that?
I'll be honest, after a while, not necessarily the varnish, but definitely the thrill of VR sort of goes. I've been here for about 6 months now, so it's still awesome, don't get me wrong, still love doing VR when I'm on my days off. Sometimes I'll pop down here and do a couple of things anyway, just so I can keep up to date with all the games. But there isn't that initial like, oh my god, this guy's in VR anymore, if you get what I mean. It's when I'm in here and there's loads of people doing it, it's just the job, man. You just got to keep everyone happy and going and stuff like that.
So what was one of your like favourite parts about Vertigo VR?
Definitely the potential of the place, because obviously we've only been open about a year, and we're doing a lot of new things. For example, today you guys are here when we're doing the lock-in, where basically we stay open past our close time, which would be 9, and we let the guys, example over there, playing on the PCs, they get to do some training because they're a League of Legends team. And that's one of the ways we're trying to build a community, which is something I feel is really important, especially for gaming. One of the things my bosses explained to me when they first came here was that they want to bring video gaming in England out of the basement, so to speak. Because a lot of what people consider gaming is staying at home, not moving around, whereas, especially when I was younger, LAN parties were a big thing. You go around to your mate's house and play video games and that kind of thing. And one of the things I like about the company is that we're bringing that idea back. In small steps, obviously, but I think it's a really good start, especially for the perception of gaming in the country.
Well, awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
No, it's my pleasure.
And if you don't fancy a full body experience, then why not be cocooned by one of these VR spheres? The Oculus Rift is what powers this bad boy. They also have some wind fans to simulate like there's blowing air at you, some speakers on the left and the right, so you could be fully immersed in the sound, and some handles that can make you fly through space with their triggers on the back, or just hold on to like you're in a roller coaster. These VR spheres can simulate up to 90% of a freefall. It's almost like it was some sort of 4D or 5D cinema. So speaking of 5D cinema, Vertigo VR made sure to add their own, housing a whopping 165-inch screen and motion effects that make you feel like you're actually in the film. They also got effects like wind, water, air and smells to make you feel really immersed in the cinema experience. So I'm here with Paul, the general manager. So what does your position entail here at Vertigo?
So I started out here as a sort of events manager and social media manager. It's developed and grown since then. So I'm general manager here now, but essentially I'm in charge of the events and I'm in charge of, guiding operations and making sure everything goes the way it's supposed to.
Cool. What sort of events do you run here?
So everything from PC gaming tournaments to VR tournaments. In the past we've had like Beat Saber tournaments and Elven Assassin tournaments. It's it's a difficult situation with esports for VR because it's not very accessible to the sort of standard person. VR costs a lot to get into, and for an esport to prosper, it really needs a casual base of players. So we're doing what we can to sort of get people involved with sort of low-level esports in VR. But for the most part, we're running sort of regular PC gaming and PlayStation gaming.
Cool. And so with like VR esports, how is it like? How are you, as in Vertigo, like putting it out there more to the casual audience?
So we started off by having free events where we would just allow people to come down here for free. And then pick up a bunch of tickets to compete in different things, and then there was an overall winner after that for different kind of events. But again, we're working with other arcades, so we've got other arcades that are part of like an esports league, and we're working with those. So we've got our own team for Skyfront VR, and they competed against teams in like other countries all across Europe and the world. So the way it's working right now is basically arcades working together to sort of do sort of low-level tournaments, and also developers themselves, like the Beat Saber developers put on a sort of worldwide Beat Saber tournament as well that was available across arcades. So really it's about arcades working together because, in the UK there aren't that many, but across the world there are actually quite a lot. It's quite popular in America and in Eastern Europe and stuff like that.
And like with teams, do you as Vertigo have like your own team you've made or like?
We're working on it. So the guys behind us just there, they're a League of Legends team that basically we're sponsoring. They're doing their own thing, but they approached us and we decided to work with them and let them play here and stuff like that. And then we had a Skyfront VR team, but we got knocked out of that tournament, unfortunately. But as they come, we just sort of put them together. We have regulars that we get to know and ask them if they want to participate. We don't have any like super pros at VR, but they kind of don't exist yet. Like it's very sort of growing and in its larval stage right now.
Cool. And just as a final question, what's your favourite part about here at Vertigo VR?
My favourite part personally is I'm basically getting to craft this VR empire from the ground up kind of thing. I get to decide what games go on the systems. I get to decide what events we run, how they're run, what games I want to support and that kind of thing. And it's just really rewarding for me to do that.
Cool. Well, awesome. Thank you very much. So Vertigo VR sounds like a whole lot of fun, right? Well, it gets a whole lot better. Here are 16 custom-built gaming PCs with 16 Asus screens, 16 Cerberus keyboards and 16 Cerberus mice, all hooked up with LAN to create an awesome gaming experience. You're probably wondering what's inside one of these PCs. Well, they house a 1060 Ti and Core i5s to deliver awesome gaming speeds like no other. You can play games such as League of Legends, Dota 2, Fortnite, Apex, whatever your heart desires, all with great comfort with the eBlue gaming PC chairs, one of the nicest chairs I think I've ever sat on. All of this hooked up is pretty good, gives a great experience for whether you're an esports gamer, as they do nights like this, but all of these lights and computers all hooked up to something, it must cost a lot. Well, I'm going to speak to one of the staff here at Vertigo VR to find out just how much it costs. Alright, so I'm here with Alex, and we're just going to do a general interview about what the upkeep's like at Vertigo VR. So first of all, what's it like? Does upkeep something you focus on greatly here?
in terms of upkeep, it's really the whole center that has to work properly. When it comes to technology, you cannot be having a part of experience failing, otherwise the whole thing just go out of sync. And that's really how it works. Everything should be working hand in hand, and that's how you get a solid experience. So there is a lot of efforts to perfect things and making sure they're operational within the standards.
So, what's like the average cost of keeping it all together at Vertigo VR?
Oh, the average cost of keeping it together, boy, it differs month to month. So we had this guest who managed to drop and shatter in pieces a virtual reality headset within about 20 minutes of them walking into the building, and we never had that happen before. So that would say £500 out of window, and we cannot charge anyone that, because at the end of the day they're coming here to have fun, not to lose money, and it's not their fault exactly. So we have to accommodate for that.
Okay. So what's the process like for like replacing and repairing things?
Replacing and repairing things, it's all about logics. It comes with electronics, it's always like that. It could be, well, the first thing you would try usually just off and on. You shut something down, you bring it back to life, you see if the problem cured itself. If it hasn't, then you think about what could go wrong from the most common thing to the most rare thing. Again, we had issues with 2-hour room scale virtual reality setups, VR arenas, about maybe a month ago, where during the session, at some point you would have the whole VR just kind of shaken, which is very unusual, which is usually would only be happening if you have a lighthouse, the sensors, something wrong with them was shaking. You would never guess what happened, but it took us a while to find it out. But we had just a simple arcade machine cabinet within the same electric grid, and the contact there, the power contact there, just get loose. Whenever anyone would be playing that, even the slightest touch on the button, that same contact would start rattling around, and it would just start sending impulses within the circuit, and that would affect the lighthouses. But this is something we never came across in our experience, and none of our engineers could find it out. It was just a matter of us playing, trying to determine whatever triggered the problem. But usually it would be just a logic approach to events.
And so obviously it's like you strive to like keep all this equipment in order and stuff. It's like pretty good. But
Yes.
one like silly question we had is like, how do you battle like Windows 10 automatic updates? So like, you know, somebody could be playing and it says like, oh, you have an update, or it just restarts. Have you like got a way around that? Or
when it comes to the updates, games, they usually don't have any kind of a critical updates that wouldn't allow the current version to play. So you can wait until no one's in the building and update it. When it comes to the Windows, you have this postpone button for a couple of hours or whatever. But with the Windows 10, again, gladly, it doesn't do it unannounced unless you tick the box, and we haven't done that. So we have a full control of when and how to update, because otherwise it could take really ages, and even though we have a dedicated internet line here.
cool. And how do you get like all your games and stuff? Do you have like over one account or multiple accounts on each different like VR rig and stuff?
It depends. So that would be a question really for our CTO, Andy. But really the way it works, we have multiple accounts on Steam. This is what it comes to the PC gaming titles. For the VR titles, we need to have official commercial licenses. And we get it from other pieces of software. And we have different, I think it's also the Steam codes, but those codes would right away let the software know that you are paying per minute. So there is a licensing fee involved. Some of our hardware comes with the licenses, sort of a eternal license that we get to keep forever.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Alex. So playing games with others is something that Vertigo VR does best. And now here we're in the Battle Royale arena with 4 PlayStation 4s hooked up to 4 32-inch screen TVs. you and your squad can just sit down and drop into one of these PS4 experiences. Because either you'd want a game with a controller or game on a PC, it's whatever. Vertigo VR lets you deliver that experience however you please. If you're a person who enjoys a realistic racing simulator, then Vertigo VR is the place for you. If you wanted to get something like this at home, it could cost you upwards of £3,000, which isn't something great. But here at Vertigo VR, you can do it for about £15 for 15 minutes. You can see we've got an awesome realistic driving wheel, pedals set all together, even a fan to help you out. It's powered by Core i7 and GTX 1060, running project cars and an Oculus Rift to make you really feel like you're racing the action. And this Sparco racing seat just adds right on top to it. So speaking of all these experiences, I want to know the history of Vertigo VR and how it was made. Alright, so I'm here now to just find a little bit about how Vertigo VR started. So yeah, tell me, how did you start?
It started a few years ago when I known Alex for quite a few years. Whilst I was working in Akamai, I had a little project to do with VR. And then we met one day with Alex in the park, and then he said, I'm doing something with VR, and then this is kind of where we started. We said, well, why don't you do something together?
So I guess, what were your really initial goals with like starting it up?
Initially, the goals were very low and low expectation. But because we both were fascinating with VR, then it kind of drove us to get to, you know, wanting more and to present that to the people the way that we think it should be. And then at that moment, there were no alternative, even on a small scale. So.
And how has it grown in how many years it's been active?
Well, we've been open. The company started a few years ago, and then we only moved in here some mid of last year, and then the whole project started with a completely different venue than it is looking now. So.
And what's your personally favourite part about Vertigo VR?
I like the arenas the most because they just give you the different experience every time you go in. So the PC gaming is good, but then it's kind of becoming monotonous. Where with the friends, the VR is much better offering.
And finally, like, is there any plans for the future, like spreading out to different towns or just like getting bigger?
Yes, we quite we've known what we achieved over the years, so we're planning to open the new ones and then get bigger year on year.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the VR Ride. This, coupled with the Oculus Rift, is an immersive experience, and it's basically sensory, as you'll need to keep your balance as you've got the headset on, going through the ride. You'll be immersed in a world, and then you've just got to be moving around, going to have to hold on, and like just, you know, keep yourself straight. And it feels really fun and great, and it's honestly something you should definitely try out. If you ever want to come down to Vertigo VR in the future and experience some of the best VR setups in the country, then all you have to do is either click on the link down below or go to their website at vertigovr.co.uk. I want to thank Vertigo VR for letting us film here today, and I want to thank you all for watching.